So, I wanted to talk about getting women, like getting a girlfriend and keeping her. So I've been able to get girlfriends in the past, but as far as like keeping a girlfriend, it's like it's almost a matter. It's like this, as far as I can tell. Like in modern America, it's like a matter of like how alpha you can maintain yourself. You know what I mean? Like it's like if you can act like super alpha all the time, then you can keep a girlfriend, assuming that you have one to begin with, or that you went out and got one. And yeah, it's like you have to be like super alpha, like, you know, like really dominant. And if you're like more passive, or if you're just sort of in between that, where you're sort of like, yeah, sometimes you can be tough and dominant, but sometimes you just want to relax. You know, like it's like there's like no in between, you know. It's just not if you want to keep your girlfriend, which is just so fucking crazy. Like I was just talking to a girl who I've been talking to for a while on this video game that I play. And I could tell like she was really like distant and cold today, and like just she was still talking to me, but like she just didn't really want to talk. And I was sort of out of things to say. So I just sort of was like chilling, and I wasn't acting like maybe not necessarily tough, but like at least interesting. I just didn't have anything like really like interesting to say, you know. And not just interesting, but like alpha or whatever, you know, just whatever. I just didn't have anything like going on or whatever for now. And yeah, it's just like if you don't maintain this like appearance of being alpha or whatever the fuck, it's like they don't really give a shit about you, you know. They don't really see you as a person. They just see you as this like really like you either get seen as an alpha or you get seen as like a weakling. And you're not really a person in the eyes of most of these women. Not in America, anyway. It's really brutal. And it's really, like, hard to, like, tell women to humanize at least some men, you know, like, because every time they do, it seems ingenuine, you know. It's just kind of like, I just saw this post on Threads on Instagram, and this woman was like, hey, if you have tried to take care of a woman who can't take care of herself and needs help that you can't provide, or some shit like this, then you don't deserve her. Or not that, but like she doesn't deserve you. I mean, is what the woman said. What she's really saying is you don't deserve her, and I'm just trying to get a boyfriend for now to provide for me. That's what she's really saying, okay? It comes off to me as really ingenuine, just because I can look at this woman, the woman who said that, her picture, And I can know just by looking at her picture that she's not being genuine. Because that's how that type of woman is. So, and every time, and it's like almost every woman in America is kind of like that. So ingenuine, you know. And which just means that they're not being real with you, you know. Anyway, it's just sort of how it is, but yeah. I'm gonna comment on this at least. Like, I might be overweight right now, but I've never looked, I don't think I've ever looked better. Like, not, if I was like skinny, I'd look even better, but as far as like my facial aesthetics go, like, I've never looked any better. Except for maybe when I was like a little kid, because I was like fed a healthy diet, you know. But my facial aesthetics, as far as those go, like I've never looked any better in my adult life. So yeah. If you want to get women looks max, you know, like try to look your best. I mewed for years, you know, like I just like you put your tongue to the roof of your mouth and you push out your jaw. I did that for years, and like that made my face look a lot better. Not just that, but actually, it was mostly that, but yeah. So I look pretty good now. Basically, I was just trying to get back to the way I used to look when I was like, I don't know, like a teenager, at least. I mean, I look older now, but I actually still do look like a teenager. I wasn't really trying to look like a teenager. I was just trying to like have facial aesthetics, but yeah, anyway, my best advice for you with these ingenuine women is just, if you want to get laid, like, just looks max. And if you can't looks max, then I don't know, but it kind of goes a long ways. Plus, you need that like physical attraction. The main thing for me that I have a problem with is that I'm actually kind of short. Like, I'm 5'7", which in most parts of the world that's not short, but in America that's a couple inches from the average. Like, I'm like 5'7.5", and the average is about 5'9.5". So, yeah. But most women don't really even give a shit what the average is. They want a guy who's 6 foot or more. But I think the cutoff online, like, here's what I read. I read this stat that if you're at least 5'7", you have some kind of a chance. And I read that if you're any lower than 5'7", like, you're pretty much out of the dating game. So how lucky is that for me? I don't know. Like, what are the odds that I would be 5'7" instead of like 5'5"? But those stats are just stats, you know. Like, I know a guy who's 5'5", and he's been married like 3 times, or maybe twice. I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyway, yeah. As far as these women go, like, I really love women. I just want to be nice to them, but um, it's like if I'm not like this alpha dominant badass. I don't like the word badass. It sounds stupid. If I'm not this like alpha dominant like loser guy who sells drugs and rides a motorcycle and like beats people up, you know, it's just like, man, if I'm not that guy, it's just like, what the hell. Anyway, it's not even about that though. It's just mostly about your looks. You can be this quiet, introverted loser guy, and as long as you're good looking, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, the main thing for me is that I'm 5'7" in America, so that means that it's just going to be harder for me to date anybody who's not a minority, basically. So I can't really date white women anymore. Like, the standards just got too high. So dating white women is just sort of impossible, unless they're from like Eastern Europe. And I mean, in America, Eastern European women are considered white, but somehow Japanese women aren't considered white. I don't know. It's kind of weird because they both have white skin. I don't really care, but like still, it's like kind of a weird definition. But I really want to date like an Eastern European woman or a Southeast Asian woman. I don't know. I guess I would date an Indian woman, but not my first choice because I've met a few Indian women. And Indian men, like, whenever I go to, like, a gas station that's run by Indians, like, I get along with them pretty well. But it just seems like they're always kind of condescending. Not always. Like, here's the thing. Sometimes they're condescending, and sometimes they're really polite, and sometimes they're both, and it's kind of weird. And sometimes they realize they're being condescending, but I don't really like how that, I don't know. It just seems like maybe I don't fit in with Indians that well. But like with Japanese people, or like Japanese people seem to like kind of get along with me a little bit. So like in a good way. Like it just makes more sense with Japanese people. So Southeast Asians and not Southern Asians, you know, like, plus, like, I don't know. You could say that Indian men don't have very good genetics, and neither do the women, but they I don't know. They usually do come out pretty short with like just not very good genetics, you know. So. That sounds really mean, but I just don't. I don't know. I would probably date an Indian woman, but I don't really want to go to India. Like, I don't. That place is kind of just really bad. Somehow, you know, somehow they're Asians and they have a really terrible society. Well, every other Asian has a really good society, so it doesn't even make sense to me on with that, but whatever. So end of the story. I probably wouldn't date a South Asian, an Indian. You know, I'd date a Malaysian probably, but anyway, like a Southeast Asian is probably those women are really beautiful and they're really nice. Well, sometimes they're kind of mean. I kind of like that. Like they're kind of funny. Not funny, but like like you can talk to them. Where like white women are like maybe a little too mean. And you might say, "Hey, Austin, you're white," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know I have white skin, but I have Eastern genetics, like not Southeast Asian, but like Oceanic, like if you don't know, like Eurasian, like European Asian genetics, that's the word for it, Eurasian or whatever, but it's really just Western Asian or like Eastern European genetics that got mixed into the Western genetics that I have. So yeah, in conclusion, I am sort of white, but I'm also sort of not white based on what I know. So anyway, I'm not Southeast Asian, but I'm some sort of like white Asian, I guess you could say. I don't know, pretty much. If you don't know what I've read about and like the ancestry tests I've done and stuff like that, then you wouldn't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, not saying I'm Asian, but I have some Asian genetics, basically. I'm basically a white guy with some Asian genetics. So I'm like Eastern and Western, sort of. Anyway, I really would like if I could find an Eastern European woman or a Southeast Asian woman to date, that would be the best. Because they're just so fucking nice, they're just so like, at least to me they seem like really nice. And yeah. Where like with white women, it's like, I don't know. With white women, it's like very difficult. Plus they're kind of, I don't want to say this, but like, because again, you're going to say that I'm like completely white, but I'm not completely white. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, or at least I'm not like, like completely Western European. Like I've got some Eastern, Western Asian, like Eastern genetics, basically. Eastern to a European. And basically, like, I kind of lost my train of thought. I don't know what I was gonna say. Sorry, I'm trying to recollect my thoughts. Recollecting my thoughts. Yeah, I forget. I better just end the video or whatever. Anyway, I'm hoping to get like a better girlfriend. Maybe I'll get on OkCupid and try to talk to some Asian women. Like some Southeast Asian women. Yeah. Anyway, see ya.